Hello, Hugh. It's Rowan from Silver Tiger Media. How are you?
Hey, perfect. I love your backdrop.
Thank you very much indeed. It's rather a sneaky eye looking over my shoulder there.
Yeah.
What an absolute honor and privilege again to speak to the very person who began my passion for music back in 1977. Thank you very much for your time.
Well, it's very nice of you to say that. Thank you. It's always a pleasure, Rowan.
Thank you very much. First and foremost, I have to offer humble congratulations on your magnificent 10th studio album, Moments of Madness. You must be so very proud of this collection.
Um, yeah, I mean it's I'm quite surprised at the great reception it's got. To me, it's just the next record, in the line of the ones that I'm making, and so it's always good to get appreciation. It shows you're not pissing in the wind, so to speak. So yeah, it's great, and long may it last.
Absolutely. And of course, we haven't spoken since 2019 when you were last out here, and kind of a lot's happened since then. So, was the music you were working on for Moments of Madness all during the COVID mess that, in retrospect, was a collection of Moments of Madness?
Exactly, yeah, and that's part of the reason why it's called that. It's funny. In the run up to 2000, and when did it hit? 2019, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, well, in the autumn before, I was going for a walk in the English countryside, and I was thinking to myself, wouldn't it be nice to have a year off?
Oh,
And lo and behold, I got 2 years off.
there we go. And so did we. So thank you very much indeed for that, bringing it all about. And
Yeah,
of
so
course,
I mean, go on, carry on.
sorry, I was just thinking about you walking in the woods, and I thought, how apt coming out of the wilderness as an exit to lockdown. It's brilliant.
Well, I mean, a lot of the songs are directly related to that whole lockdown period. We were all going mad by the end of 2 years, and so that's where coming out of the wilderness was actually one of the later songs to be written. So that sort of makes sense.
Perfect sense indeed. And if I may, I'd like to speak a little bit more about Moments shortly. But what Australia doesn't know as yet, and we very fortunate few are keeping Sturm on for the moment, is that you're coming back to see us down under.
That is correct. Yeah, it's I think it's later on in your winter time, like like the end of July. I think we're heading back there. I don't think it's been announced yet, but so you're
No.
getting in right at the top of it.
Absolutely. So much is the Sturm and the hush hush that I don't even know the where or the when, but that will be revealed tomorrow. But thank you very much for winter. It makes perfect sense because you're in the Netherlands during April, the Northern Kin Festival in June, Alford in July, Belgium in August, Dublin in November. So I thought it had to be summer in there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, we've been but wanting to come back ever since the last time was so good. We had such a great time. I think that maybe this time we'll be mixing it up and not playing two sets. I think that it'll be more like a festival situation with a longer set and then a few stranglers nuggets, sitting in amongst the newer songs.
Absolutely. That sounds brilliant. It was my intention to ask whether it will be a similar sort of a set as was in 2019, because it was such a treat. But to mix it up just increases the excitement even further. You did give us a little bit of a video teaser just before the tour started for the album itself, in that there would be a couple of Stranglers tracks that were never heard before. Could I ask, what were they and how were they received?
Yeah, well, it was a live version of Waltz in Black
Right.
with some samples, which the drummer was hitting live. So a lot of people thought it was a backing track, which I was just playing the melody over, but it wasn't. It was the drummer hitting live samples and creating a lot of the keyboards, and then I played the melody, and the bass was played live. So it was a complete live rendition, and the other one was the other instrumental from Men in Black, which is my favorite album that I made when I was in my period with the band. Turn the Century's Turn, which I've always loved, and that went down quite well too. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant news. And of course, coming to Australia, what do you enjoy about coming to Australia?
Well, where do you begin? I mean, you've got yourself a great country there. You know, it's I've always enjoyed coming. It's one of the most enjoyable places to go and tour in. People are so friendly and everything's easy to, you know, it's no sweat. You know, it's easy. It's easy. Everything's easy there. There's no hassle, and you've got some beautiful towns and some beautiful countryside. It's great. I love it.
Oh, tremendous. And of course, if anything's 2018's announcement was anything to go by, then the news tomorrow will be the source of much excitement down under, I can assure you. You provided, sorry, my apologies, you toured last with Pat Hughes on bass and Windsor McGillivray on drums. Will you be travelling to us with accompaniment?
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly our setup. It's a three-piece, and when we play the old songs, Strangler songs, as you will remember, we've got new arrangements for them. Sometimes the keyboards are covered by Pat playing it on the bass, or sometimes I can play pieces of it on the guitar. Sometimes you can even create the keyboard passages with voices, you know, because they both sing. So we've got three voices we can use. Yeah, it's fun. And go on, yeah.
That's amazing. You mentioned the word bass there, and straight away, Moments of Madness would have to be the most reggae-esque track in your catalogue, but the bass just took it to a whole new level. You say the word bass and Moments of Madness, it just jumped straight into my head. How did you come up with that?
Well, it's funny enough, that was the first track I prepared for the album. Was the gem of Moments of that track, the reggae track. And I sent it to my manager, and he said, that's the worst song you've ever written. And I can't believe you're thinking of putting that on the album. And I didn't know what to say. He just said, it's terrible. I said, what's wrong with it? He said, it's just terrible, terrible. So I took it away. I mean, I do take constructive criticism. I took it away and thought about it. And I took the bits that I liked out of this rudiment, this earliest version of the song, and recreated it as Moments of Madness, you know, as a reggae track. And he said, that's fantastic. You know, that's one of the best things you've ever done. So you know, you should always listen to what your manager says to you.
Most. Now, you've been playing tracks for quite a while now for Moments of Madness since its release. Have there been clear fan favourites from the album that people just love hearing?
Not really. I mean, we've got through. We started off playing 5 of them, and then we changed to. We've changed 2, so we've managed to play 7 of them, and there's 3 left we haven't even touched yet, but they could be played because it's so simply arranged. No, that I mean. We really enjoy playing Lasagna because our crew member comes on and plays maracas with a Mexican luchador mask. So we enjoy playing that live. But I don't know. Nobody. It hasn't come through from the audience which ones they like the most.
Well, we'll just like all of them in Australia, there's no doubt. But is the way a song will translate before a live audience something that you consider during the writing process?
Well, I do think about that a little bit when I'm recording it. And you don't want any headaches when you come to play something live, if it's especially if it's a popular song. So yeah, it is good to keep in mind. That's one of the reasons why when I do record, I try and keep things as simple as possible. I try to have as few guitar parts as possible, as little embellishment as possible, so that it could be played live. And it's working so far. And then the live version sounds pretty much like the recorded one, which is also a good which is also a benefit, you know.
Yeah, being so close to the recording that people are familiar with. And of course,
Yeah,
there's been some
exactly.
brilliant video accompaniment to the tracks that have been released, especially on the internet. Beware of the Doll, we see our primary protagonist painting red roses right at the end. And I have to ask, whether it be subliminal or otherwise, is there are they the same roses that are Red Rose on his shoulder in the track Red Rose? Is there a link between the tracks?
Oh, no, it's not meant to be. No, 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 no. That's purely coincidental.
That's
Absolutely.
it's me, it's not
Yeah,
you.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I did keep an eye out for a tramp stand on the dolls, though. I must confess.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that connection before. You're absolutely right. There could have been. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Red rose on the shoulder. You know that the red rose is the most popular tattoo in the world, apparently.
I didn't know that, so I
Yeah,
can imagine though the
that's
amount you see them.
yeah, that's why it's called that. Yeah.
Wonderful. And of course, coming out of the wilderness, the exit lockdown anthem is so hooky. But the film clip visually reminds me of your first solo work, perhaps not in music from a musical perspective, but back in 1988, certainly the visual perspective of Wolf. For this 10th studio album, did you find yourself looking back at the past 9 studio albums to consider when creating moments?
No, I don't really. I don't really do that. I try and avoid thinking too much. Pondering too much before doing it. And but what does happen is that when you finish making a record, you've learned so much from making that record that the things that you've learned stay in your mind, and the first thing you do is to implement the things you learned from doing the last one. So that there is a learning process and a period of reflection, but only the previous album, if you see what I mean. So I learned quite a lot from making Moments of Madness about striving for simplicity in writing and in arrangement. And I will be taking those things I learned and putting them into practice when I start the next record.
Wonderful. And which leads me to ask about Phil Andrews in a way, I guess, because you worked with him on Madness as you did with Monster and Footprints in the Desert. The
Oh,
vinyl.
he's been a constant factor in the recording process. I mean, when I first left the Stranglers, he was my first keyboard player. When I thought I needed keyboards in my lineup, and then I dropped keyboards, but we stayed in touch, and he developed a great pair of ears and became a great technical wizard in the studio. And so he's helped me make my demos for when I was working with producers. I had to prepare demos, and so Phil was there helping me make them. So it's been a long process of working together, and we now understand each other very, 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 very easily, and I can almost hardly have to say anything, and he knows what I'm striving for, in the way something sounds. And he'll be coming with us to Australia, and he'll be mixing the Out Front sound. You'll be pleased to hear.
Oh, wonderful news. I mean, that's so reminiscent of hearing him on Guilty and Wired. That'll be incredible that
That's
he's on the
right.
tour. Magnificent news. Excellent. Look, Hugh, I must ask you, Lasagna, what was the influence for that track?
Well, it has a basis in fact. There is a lasagna that is made in Mexico in a certain location by an Italian lady that actually exists, and it is a song, an ode to this lady, a tribute to this lady's fantastic lasagna. And I go there, I go to Mexico a lot, and I go to the place where this is made a lot, and it's one of my my regular visits every week is to go and have her lasagna, and it's of such a high quality, and it's the best I've ever had in the world. And it blew their mind when I actually wrote the song and put it on the album. They could not believe that it had happened, but it does exist. It's not a fantasy.
Wonderful. I make it my mission to seek out this lasagna and go and try it for myself.
You're
Hugh,
welcome.
through these decades, you haven't compromised one bit. You're still with Moments of Madness producing absolute gold. What has kept you driven for so long and true to what you want to produce?
Well, it's a case of frustration, I think, of being frustration at not creating, knowing you can do better, and every record that's done, you think, it could be a little bit better, it could be a little bit better. So that drives you on. And when you're writing, the songs could be a little bit, a mission to improve. Basically, that's all it is. It's just you're on a mission to get better and better, like any craftsman, doing any sort of a job with some sort of a skill involved. You want to do it to the best of your ability, and you want to keep getting better. You don't want to get worse. You want to get better, and hopefully, I'm going in the right direction. Both in the studio and playing live. I mean, having Windsor and Pat on stage is a real bonus for me. They push my envelope, because they are so good. I have to push my envelope to reach the standards that they reach. So that's also a struggle for improvement, a work towards getting better. So I think that's the main thing that's kept me at it. I think if I make the perfect record, I probably won't want to make another one.
Right. I can understand that completely, and it makes perfect sense considering that from a degree in biochemistry in Bristol to Lund University in Sweden, forming Johnny Socks. I mean, you've always strived for something better, and look at Moments of Madness, absolute gold.
Well, thank you. It's great to get some feedback like this. It's good. I can't wait to come over. It's going to be a long wait. It's another 6 months, I think.
Absolutely. And of course, news of the tour had us at Silver Tiger Media bouncing with glee, and I'm sure that will be the case tomorrow for so many around the country. Hugh, thank you very much for your time today. It's been an absolute treat and an honour to speak with you again. Thank you very kindly.
Thanks, Ronan, and look forward to seeing you all later in the year.
Terrific. Travel safely, my friend. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.